Devon from Jamaica.
Devon. Whichever one you want to call it. Devon. In Jamaica is Devon. But once I started going to school in America and I was talking to the ladies, I'd introduce myself as Devon because it sounds smoother, you know what I mean? But either one you could use.
Good to know. Good to know. So, Devon, what is it that you do? What has brought you to us?
I'm a filmmaker, but I do a lot of different functions in film. I'm an editor, I'm a colorist, I'm a director of photography, I'm a director, sound designer, everything film. I'm also a songwriter, screenwriter, and a performer. I actually started out as an artist and then I transitioned into everything else, a recording artist, and I transitioned into film.
Okay. So, how is it that you have been able to do so many different things?
Um, I never say no to an opportunity. I started out, like I said, I started out as a recording artist, and I always want to learn more. So I try not to limit myself. So I started out as a recording artist. Then it came to a point where I needed to create visuals, and I was trying to hire somebody to do it, but at the time I couldn't really afford the prices that was out there. And when I was looking at the prices, I was like, when I was looking at the prices of cameras, I was like, maybe I should buy a camera and actually learn how to do it. So my friend, he actually purchased the first camera and we started shooting my music videos. And the deal was for him to shoot and I would edit. So I started editing. And after a while, that just became like a business because a lot of my friends and people that I knew as artists, they wanted me to now do their music videos as an editor. And then when my camera operator got super religious and was more into church, I had to learn how to operate. So I started operating cameras. Then as I was shooting and editing, it's like, what can I do to make this look better? Then I started studying lighting. So then I learned how to light. Then what can I do to make it look even better? I started studying color grading. So I got into color grading. I got introduced to DaVinci Resolve. At first it was Apple Color. And then someone introduced me to DaVinci. And from there, every video that I shot, I'd make sure the lighting was right. Then I'd work on the color and I progressively got better. And I didn't really know what I wanted to be because I was doing everything. I was directing, editing, and I really kind of found my niche during like the pandemic. I was here and a friend of mine, Lem Collins, Karan Joseph, and Marcus Monroe, they wanted to do a project. So I had the cameras and they knew I had the cameras. They said, yeah, we want you to be on this project with me. What do you want to do? I was like, well, I'll do whatever. It doesn't matter. You need me to AC, I could do whatever. What do you want me to do? It's like, well, if you could do all these things, you might as well be the DP. So I took the opportunity. I didn't say no. I took the opportunity to DP a project called The Fellas. And once I did that project, everyone was very impressed with how it looked, the camera movements, and they said, man, you should really do this. You're a DP. I was like, all right, I'm a DP. And then I got another opportunity to work on another project, and from there, we moved on to other projects. I ended up on the Car Lot. That's where I met Tim. Dorian was the director of Car Lot. I got introduced to Dorian, and I put a team together. I brought my team down. Al Rivera was a part of that team. Super dope. And a couple other friends of mine, and we DP'd the Car Lot. It became like an official title because before I was just like an all-around person. Like, hey, you want me to direct? Depending on the budget. If you got budget for a director, then I'll be the DP or however, whatever the budget was. I'll do, if I had to do everything, if I had to shoot a video and be in the video, then I'll do that too. I just never said no to opportunity. So, and any skills that I decide that I want to pursue, I pursue it wholeheartedly. I don't want to go like halfway with it. I want to learn everything. I want to be as good as I could possibly be. And DP is like the title is director of photography. That person is pretty much in charge of the image for the film, the image, the feel, the way the camera moves. When you look at the lighting, when you look at the elements that's placed in the scene to create that visual that we all fall in love with, the style, the mood, the feel. It's just so much that goes into being a director of photography. You have to kind of be like even a psychologist. You got to understand how people think, how colors affect people, how camera movements affect people, how certain lighting, everything. It's just like just crafting the image and the feel of the film. The opportunities presented themselves, and I just stepped into it because I didn't have any interest in filmmaking. I'd watch films, I'd watch movies that I was interested in. I didn't have like an interest in like photography or anything like that. The only thing I knew was music and like working. Like I used to be like a corporate guy, you know. I went to school for business, so I worked at JP Morgan Chase for almost 11 years. I worked there from I was 16 to 27, you know. So all I knew was school, and I did music as a hobby, something I loved. And while in college, a lot of my peers pushed me to really take music seriously because I'd go on stage and perform, and people was like, "Man, you're really good. You should do this. You could be the next Sean Paul, the next Shaggy, the next," you know. So I took music seriously for a long time. I used to tour. I performed with like Beanie Man, Two Face, TOK, Tony Montaron. Like I was touring for a while before I did this. I was touring, doing music. I quit my job and everything to do music, and then while doing music, I fell into film. So I had the opportunity to do film, and I'm like, man, I really love film because it allows me to do so many things. It's like encompasses so many different art forms. I transitioned from artist to behind the camera because I started shooting music videos for myself. Me and my friend would shoot music videos. So whenever I wasn't in the scene, I would shoot, and if I was in the scene, he would shoot. So we created like a music video company, and then it's like I'm a businessman too, so my mind is always on business. So it was a natural talent that I had, and people were always hiring me to do it. So I was like, hey, buy the equipment, do everything that I can to build this business. Because as an artist, you don't have a job. It was really motivated by like people just telling me, hey man, you're really good at this. And I kept on investing and I kept on learning more. And like I said, the opportunity was just there and stepped into it. Because one thing I don't have the mindset where because it's a small production or we're independent, I want it to look like an independent production. I always look at the top quality. I don't look at the guy next door that's doing the same thing as that I'm doing. I'm looking at the people that's here. So even if I fall short of I land here, I'm still, you know. So I think the quality and the storytelling really attracted a lot of artists to my work. You know, one thing people always say, yeah, your quality, the storytelling, it feels like I'm watching a movie, not just a music video. So I think that attracted them to the work. And also, once artists work with me and realize I'm an artist also, so I could relate to them. I know what they want. I could understand their lyrics, so I could interpret it in the right way, so I could tell the right stories and create the right visuals. So once they realize I have that, then like everything was just pretty much word of mouth. It's like, hey, I got a guy you could work with. Because a lot of times with artists, they have a song and they may do a music video for it. It may look pretty, but it don't have the right feel. It don't have the right swing. They might not understand the culture. You know, little elements that you got to throw into the video that we like and we could gravitate to. So I think that gave me an advantage over others. I think my ethics and hard work really come from my parents. My mother was a hard worker. Like growing up, she was a single mother. Um, so she worked like 3 jobs. Her goal was to take care of her family. So I would barely see my mother. She'd be up from 6 a.m. out of the house. She'd do one job. Then at 4 o'clock, she goes to the other job. She got off at 11, come home, sleep, go to the next job. On the weekend, she did real estate. So she had like 3 jobs. She was always working. So I got that from my mother. And then my father was also a hard worker. But he was a carpenter and he was like the best. Where I'm from in Hanover, Jamaica, he was like the best. Like people talk about his work to this day. And he was one of those people that would grab his friends and teach them the craft and help a lot of people to really create a career and create income for their family. So he was that type of person. So growing up and hearing about how my father was, I think that instilled that type of work ethics in me. My father was actually in an accident when I was young, about 5 years old. So his career kind of got cut short because of the accident. He was in a coma and had to learn how to walk and do everything again. So I didn't. That's why my mom was a single mother. Like she migrated to America. My father was in Jamaica, but their work ethics and just their pursuit of excellence, I think that kind of inspired me to just always work hard. Even in school, I just worked hard because I'm like, if my mom could do it and do 3 jobs, I got to do something with my life. I can't say like, I'm a man and can't live up to even what my mother did. So I work hard. Like I'm always working. I'm just always trying to get better, and that comes from my parents. A lot of my mentors I have never really met in person. Like I learned online. I learned a lot of stuff online and going to workshop. So one of the people I definitely followed was Shane Holbert. Like he has the Filmmakers Academy. So I studied his work a lot. And just a lot of different filmmakers. And I read a lot of books too. And sometimes some of the filmmakers I don't even know because they're like filmmakers, like British filmmakers that might not be popular. But what I paid attention to more than even their works is like their mindset. Like if there was like a quote that someone said about filmmaking, how they think about it, like those quotes like stick in my mind, and I really study the mindset even more than the work, because the work, if you have a certain mindset, that's what's gonna show up in your work. So Roger Deakins is another guy that I studied. His work was phenomenal to me. So I studied Roger Deakins, Shane Holbert, and those are some of the people. And it's so many people. Yeah, so my first full length film as a DP was The Car Lot with Dorian, and I worked with T-Lat Media on it. I had Al Rivera as the lighting technician. I had my boy Super Dope. Yeah, that was my that's the first full length feature film that I could take credit and say I was the DP on it. I mean, it was a great experience. It was a lot more people on set than I'm used to. I've been on big set, but not in that position. Maybe as a grip or a first AC, but not in the DP position. So I definitely learned a lot from that set, and I had like a lot of takeaways from that set. Things I could have done better. Um, Things I liked. Yeah, so that set taught me a lot, and I developed a skill set in that set, the DP while AC, because on that set we lost our first AC. So me and Al, we got together. He was like, "Hey man, you can pull the focus." I'm like, "Yeah, I can." And he has so much knowledge already. We could just communicate. Cause we worked together for years. So some of the responsibilities that I would probably have to deal with as a DP, like he took on some of that, and we just worked back and forth. Because me, visually, I could look at the monitor and I know everything that I need to know. I know where people should be. I know what it should look like, what it should feel like. So he took care of a lot of the technical parts, and I focused on the creative part of it. And we were able to do it. And I was pulling focus while making decisions. And I'm on a lot of sets now doing that. So when we don't have the huge budget to hire AC, I'm DP'd and I'm AC'd at the same time. But the car lot was a great experience. It was a great experience. I mean, we worked long hours. It was hot, but everyone came together. They put in the work, and it was just like a great experience. I think I learned so much from that, and I met so much great people from working on the car lot. I'm here in this interview because I met a great set of people. I met Tim. I met his wife Tracy, and we've just been building. Atlanta is like the new Hollywood, and if you want to be a part of this, you really have to connect with the people that's out here doing things. And I'm so fortunate to have been on the car lot to connect with those people, because a lot of the jobs that I've gotten in the last 2-3 years was based on relationships that I've made on the car lot. T-Light Media, like I said, it was almost like I never went to film school. So working with T-Light Media, working with Tim, it was like going to film school. I was watching Tim. Tim would come on set. He'd go like this. Yeah, man, that would be a 35 there. That would be a 50 there. And I'm like, yo, how can you tell exactly what lens to wear? He's like, yeah, you just gotta know. So that's something I try to adapt now too, because before I had to put the lens on, look through the monitor to really know. And he'll know exactly where his light is supposed to be. For me, sometimes I needed to see it. All right, move the light around a little bit, but I was like, how did he? I'm like, how did he know exactly what lens? And I would think about that. So it was almost like being in film school. And then he was telling me about his color grading, and I'm like, all right, we could go color for color when you're ready. You know what I mean? So it was a lot just watching Tim, watching his patience, watching how he was able to take command of the set and make sure everything was in place. If there was a problem, he would look, figure out a solution. So it was almost like being in school. And I know Tim was a teacher, so I guess that's just a natural thing. So watching him, I was learning a lot, and yeah, so that was a great experience. And I do that now. I start looking, I'm like, I think 35, 75. And then even with ND filters, I start looking, I'm like, all right, I could do it. I need a point 0.9 here. I need a 1.2. And I got all of that from really watching him. Now I'm at a space where I really want to produce my own content. Like I said, I've always had dope ideas for scripts, and sometimes I would meet with writers and get them to write work on it. But sometimes it wouldn't be exactly what I need. So I actually started writing a lot of my own scripts, and I wrote a script called Everybody Loves Trouble. It's loosely based on my life. So, because that's another thing. As an artist, my stage name was Troublesome. So everybody would call me Trouble. So I wrote a script called Everybody Loves Trouble because I really want to do something. My main goal was always to do cinema for Caribbean, the Caribbean diaspora. I really wanted to learn everything that I could learn here and go back to Jamaica and create the films I want to create. One of the films I want to create is Marcia, and that would be a film about my mother. Like how she migrated to America, worked 3 jobs, put all her kids through college. And I think a lot of Caribbean people have that story where your parents leave and come over here, make that sacrifice to make a better life. So I want to tell that story. I also want to tell my father's story. So those are one of the two stories I want to tell. But I'm starting with my story, which is Everybody Love Trouble. And that script is done. We actually shot like 3 or 4 scenes for it. And I want to finish that by summer. But that's my ultimate goal is really to create films for Caribbean people. I would tell anyone that's trying to get into the film industry or passionate about it, make sure you're really passionate about it. Make sure you're not doing it because you think it's cool or, because this is a tough industry. And the only thing that's going to keep you in it is the love for it. You're going to have projects that you may have to do where you're not making $1 and you're working harder than you've ever worked. You're going to have situations. I've ran into situations while doing this where I'm like, man, I was making more money as a teenager than as an adult. And that type of thing will make you want to quit. But you have to have the love for it. You have to have the right motivation and the right reasons for doing it. So if you're really gonna really get in the film industry, make sure it's something that you're passionate about, because passion is what's gonna get you to the next level. So make sure it's something that you love, and yeah, that's what I would tell them. And learning never stop. This is one of those industry where you never stop learning. You gotta always pick up a book, go to a workshop, connect with people that's in it, because you never stop learning. I was just on set today and I study all the time. I don't go to bed without watching a tutorial or something. I study all the time. And I was on set today and I learned something that I didn't know before about my camera that I've had for years. So it's just like learning never stops in this industry, and you have to be ready for it. And you can't sit down and wait for opportunities to happen. You got to go look for those opportunities. And I tell everyone that even when you're getting your opportunities, don't let your ego get ahead of you. Like even the PA on set, treat them with respect. You know what I'm saying? Control your temper. You know what I mean? This is art too. It's serious. But at the same time, I tell people, like, some people take it too serious, and I tell people sometimes, look, man, we're not saving lives. We're creating art, so you don't have to be so serious. You don't gotta be so, you know what I mean? Because some people get real serious, real disrespectful. Like, do this. Nah, I don't really like that. I try to create a temperament on set where it's cool, it's serious, it's business, and we gotta get the work done, but at the same time be respectful of people, because I heard someone say the same. What's the saying? Like it's almost like the person you disrespect today could be the person that could offer you the next opportunity. So it's like just be respectful of people, and just be always willing to go out there, put yourself out there, meet new people. And film is like a community thing. So you gotta really know what you're doing.
So I see you worked with Deuce King, who sat in that chair before. What did you all work on together? How'd that
Deuce King. So as I said, like I met Deuce King on the set of the car lot. The first day we went scouting, Deuce had to someone dropped me. I can't even remember who. Someone dropped. We were on a job and someone dropped me to set. So the first day we went to scouting, I ended up in a car with Deuce because he lived close to me. So we was in a car and we were just talking and building, and then maybe like a week later, I'm in the gym and someone says Deuce. And I look around and it's Deuce Kick. I'm like, hey, what's up? And then he started talking to me. He's like, yo, I got this project. After we finished the car up, man, I got this project that I think I want you to DP. I was like, all right, cool. Because, a lot of times people tell me they have projects that they want to do, and then he would call me and check in and just like, yo, I'm just putting everything together. Well, I got this project I really want you to do. And I'm like, all right. Maybe like a year passed and we finally decided to do Pure Finesse. When I read the script, I read maybe like 15 pages in the script. I was like, yeah, he's a writer. Because it didn't feel like someone was writing a script. It felt like a real story. Like the way they spoke, every character sounded different. It sounded real authentic. I was into the script, and I called Deuce. I said, "Yeah, man, I love the script. Is that you read all of it? Nope, don't need to. Read about 15 pages, and I love the script. I'm gonna read it all, but I love the script." So we worked on Pure Finesse. After Pure Finesse, we worked on Adolf. After Adolf, we just did Intrusive, and we're really building a producer writer DP relationship. I love working with Deuce King, and the greatest thing about it is like we have the same name, so sometimes people confuse us. So I'll get credit for Deuce's work, and he'll get credit for my work. So it's like people be like, yeah, you wrote that script Pure Finesse. I said no, that's Deuce King. I'm Deuce Beni. I was the DP on it. So I love working with Deuce, man. It's like Deuce is like the big homie, the big brother. We talk all the time about things that we want to do, how we could build, how we could all build. You know what I mean? So I love working with Deuce King. I'm here repping the shirt. I actually went home and changed to put this on. I said, if I'm going on camera, I'm going to rep for my boy, because I love what he's doing. I love his whole movement, and I love working with Deuce King. Relationships are important, and one of the things we got to work on is not being so competitive, especially in film. You have to be competitive in terms of wanting to create a better film than your last film, or wanting to create your best work, but don't be so competitive that if I'm a DP and you're a DP, we gotta have a problem. Like, no, we could work together, we could exchange ideas because the market is so huge. You know how many films get made every day? There's no need for us to compete. What we should be doing is like elevating each other. I learn from you, you learn from me, and then we just keep making film and just live our lives and do something that we enjoy. For me, I don't ever want film to feel like I'm in corporate America where it's like cutthroat. I want it to feel like, damn, I'm creating. Man, Tim is dope. Deuce is dope. AK Reed is dope. And I definitely want to big up A.K. Reed, man, because all these films with Deuce King that we've done, A.K. Reed has been the director, and he's been like a brother to me. He called me all the time, and yo, Deuce, I love what you're doing. And that's what I love about this team. We complement each other. Yo, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing, bro. Whatever you're doing, I'm supporting. And that energy, that's the greatest energy, because this is what the world is supposed to be like. I mean, competition and drama is entertaining, but it feels so much better when you have like a community of people that you can work with. So big up Deuce King, A.K. Reed, my brother Super Dope, my brother Ronnie Homo, my cousin Six, my nephew Noel. You see my nephew on set all the time. We're always training him because he's gonna pretty much take over everything. But what I want to tell people, man, like drama is cool for entertainment, but in real life, you have to work on your relationships. You have to learn to build with people, because we're at a space that if us as a people just build together, man, there is no stopping it. I think this idea of division or this programming that we have where we've seen a million, and that's the other thing. I want to create different movies. We watch all these movies where whenever we come together and do something great, you almost automatically expect something to fall apart, because that's a part of the programming. So I feel like we have to break that, and maybe we got to put out more content where we're doing things together and it's not breaking. It's building and it's getting greater, so that the youths that's coming up that's watching that could know that, yeah, this is possible. Not because me and Tim did something great, that means next week we're going to be feuding and then trying to kill each other. You know what I mean? We want to show that, hey, Deus, Beni, and T-Lot Media did something great. And then they did something great again, and they did something even greater. So this is what we want to put out there. Like, that's really my mission. And sometimes I feel like that's the hardest thing, because I feel like we're living in a world where it's like every man for themselves. You know what I mean? So that's the hardest thing. Sometimes I feel stupid, like presenting opportunities. Like, I might get a job, right? And I'm like, the money is only there for 2 people, but I'm figure out a way to squeeze 5 people in it. And then sometimes when you're talking to any regular person, like, hey man, that's stupid, bro. If that was me, I would, you know what I mean? So sometimes I feel stupid for having that mentality, but I just feel like if we could build together, it's just, there's no limit to anything, you know what I mean? So I'm always trying to push that agenda for as much as I can, for as far as I can. You know, if you look around me, you see I pull my friends. There's other people that I could work with that may be, you know, more experienced, but I try to pull for the people next to me and say, let's build that community, because I feel like we're always looking for this hero or this great savior. You know what I mean? And that's what we're programmed, look for this hero and this great savior. But I feel like if every man take care of his responsibility, like you try to build the people next to you, your family, your friends, and if everyone do the same thing, then you can really change the world. Trying to find this one person or this one hero or this one savior, I don't really believe in that. I believe we're all a part of the all, and if every man make a conscious decision to do something great and extend that to the people right next to them, then you could change the world in literally no time, instead of waiting to follow this one person. Because when that one person do something wrong, then guess what? You cut off the head, everybody fall. You know. So that's really my mentality on a lot of things. Download the T-Lot Media app for Fire TV and watch the full interview on T-Lot Media.